Hello, my friends, and welcome to the GamesDoneQuick Hotfix. I'm your host, SmoothOperative, and you are watching Time Capsule. It is the show where we travel back in time to your favorite years in gaming and showcase awesome speedruns of games released in the same year. Tonight, we are slinking through the streets with speedruns of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, and later, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes. But of course, before we begin, we must cover some announcements. SGDQ is coming up at the end of the month, and prize submissions are open from now until June 16th. So if you would like to submit a prize for the event, head on over to GamesDoneQuick.com for more information on that. And our annual Juneteenth celebration is also coming up this month, June 22nd through the 23rd. The schedule is live, and if you type the command !Juneteenth in our Twitch chat, you will be able to check out the schedule. But that's all I've got for you now, friends, so let us start the show. Our first runner has quite literally risen from the coffin to bring you our first run of the night. Here to speedrun Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, please welcome Vysetra.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, risen from the coffin, of course.
Yes, it is very early for Vysetra.
Yep, a nice, crisp 3 a.m. over here in Britbong land.
God, I love it.
Right, VTMB. Before we start the timer and get the run underway, someone has definitely pointed out we're going to be abusing the character creation menu, and what they mean by that is we're going to be choosing Nosferatu as our clan. We're going to auto-spend the points, reselect Nosferatu in the base sheet, and it gives us all our points back. Now, to save everyone the hassle of me clicking for all that multiple times over, we'll just be loading a save. So I will count down from 3 and on go. We'll start time, and the run will start. So, all right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Okay. Where do we even begin with this? We've got actually no, let's talk about the engine because it's arcane at this point.
Yes.
We are running on the earliest version of the Source engine, so I believe it's what people call Golden Source, but I am not massively familiar with the different terms for the different versions of the Source engine, but either way, this game was released a day before Half-Life 2, which is quite interesting. It was technically the first game to be released with the Source engine before Valve's own developments. So it's a little interesting in that respect.
I think so.
Honestly, like for me, you can feel the difference between this and the actual Half-Life release. Ooh, that was not meant to happen. Anyway, so we've skipped the tutorial because we have some... Oh, I forgot I did this. Okay, we'll get back to that, but the club music is not what it should be. It's been changed a little bit, but with a bit of luck.
I see.
Just for the silly factor, but where was I? Sorry. We have picked up the lockpick from Tripp's pawn shop, which is great. We're going to need that because we've skipped the tutorial where you would ordinarily get that. And we're going to head over to, well, we went to Asylum, we jumped on Janette's head. That will that's a setup for another sequence break, right? Which we'll see the effects of in about 3 minutes or so. I'm just going to head straight over to the Ocean House Hotel. This is why I made a quick save, because I saw that one coming. I'm just going to run through this. There's some new tech that I'm cooking up that actually should skip this entire section. There's 2 ways I could go about it, right? So the old tech that we used to use to skip Hollywood was you could get yourself stuck between a door frame and a door on unlocked FPS, and you would repeatedly quick save and quick load, and what that would do is the game would assume you're stuck, right? And you'll raise player coordinates and you'll go out of bounds. And the thing I've been cooking up with this area specifically is to skip this waiting in this kitchen. But the problem is I haven't quite found a way to clip back inbounds once I've got to where I need to be. As soon as I get that sorted, it'll save like like 40, 50 seconds, I think, which would be nice.
So you've been kind of cooking this up off stream.
Oh yeah, like a lot of the route optimizations and things like that have been things that I've like accidentally stumbled upon during a run, or there've been things that I've been like working with people like Reverend Alucard to try and like come up with new ways to break the game. Because it's
the glitch hunters.
Yes. Oh, it is. I mean, like, I know that we are like rushing through this whole area, but we've skipped like the vast majority of like the spookiness of this area. Like, it's in summary, it's a haunted hotel. It's like occupied by a murderer and their victim, which I won't get too much into the story because I won't do it justice. But things are spooky. Scary
things are spooky. It's scary. Play the game to find out more about that.
Absolutely. Right, so we grabbed the pendant from the Ocean House Hotel. We're going to head back towards Janette. She hasn't actually asked us to grab this yet because we've done a whole bunch of trickery. But we know she needs it because we've got that Malkavian sight as a Nosferatu. Right, with any luck, she should now be over. I hear. Excellent. And she is. So, we're going to speak to Janette, this Harley Quinn inspiration.
Fine.
And we're going to bring up the inventory menu so we regain character control. And we're going to block the shutters of the elevator. We're going to send the elevator up ourselves. And what that's going to do is trigger a flag in the conversation. So we have to re-enter here. And what this is going to do is spawn in Therese, right?
Right.
Because ordinarily you'd get the introduction and you would you'd have to do like this quest with Mercurio, like to get the Astrolite, so you could actually use the elevator as you would, like you'd press the button and go up. Instead, what we've got to do is each time we want to use the elevator is completely play around with the physics engine a little bit. So we're going to block that shutter off with the lockpick next. But first, get a bit of grooving happening.
Whoever said the Nosferatu can't dance doesn't know what they're talking about.
True. Look, bro is busting a move. Right.
I don't remember this song, by the way.
No, you don't remember this being in the soundtrack?
I certainly don't.
I asked, I want to see my sister.
That totally is normal behavior, trust me. It's version 1.1 exclusive.
Interesting. That is really fun.
Not at all added by me. Right. So we spoke with that other character. That was Therese. And she's sent us towards the diner, where she says, she wants to speak to her sister, Janette. And, oh no, we've been ambushed by a bunch of thugs. So that's not going to happen. What we're going to do, hit this last guy once, throw burrowing people towards him and pick up the phone during the first ring. Because if you wait until that rings out, the problem is the game will get like very confused. It'll say, oh, you're still in combat, so you can't answer the phone, right? Then that costs you like 15, 20 seconds or something, which is not great.
That's interesting to note, though.
I'm not sure it's a problem in like the unofficial patch, but in this version of the game, it's definitely a thing. And as we walk through this door for the confrontation with Janette, it can also soft lock here, so YOLO?
Question mark?
Okay, we're good.
Nice.
She can just sometimes like stand there pointing a gun at the wall. Like, oh, that's a fun way to lose her around.
Don't you want shut?
She's shooting the game down sometimes.
Is that right? She's a and you're. I don't.
This whole section's just like a bunch of dialogue, but in essence, we're going to save both Janette and Therese.
Why?
Because it's faster, and the reason it's faster is because it will teleport us outside of Asylum instead of us having to walk outside manually.
If she would.
Oh, it definitely continued beyond 1.1, really? I did not know that. I've never had it happen to me on an unofficial patch.
Take it. Bertram's please give and
okay.
Kill you.
All the stuff with Janette and Therese is now done. She's told us where Bertram Tongue is, who is another Nosferatu. And what this guy's going to do is take us to the Sabat warehouse. The Malkavians call him Nasty Dude, but I think he's Pretty Dude.
He's got a cool earring. Like, come on.
Yeah, bro's dripping.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, Alu does make a good point. You actually get the 38 from saving both Janette and Therese, which we use exactly once in a later tech because it's a little faster. But it used to be, I mean, it saved a whole bunch of seconds. Okay, the whole, ooh, that was close. I very nearly bumped into one of the dudes. If you aggro one of the guys in this office, that way we came in is blocked off by a metal gate, which extends the way you run around this area quite considerably. So quite nice that we didn't have that happen.
Yeah, very nice. I think I absolutely alerted the media when I was here in casual playthrough.
It's an interesting little place as well, because like every different clan like handles this section differently. With the Nosferatu, you can just use obfuscate, and I suppose Malkavians can as well. But depending on what clan you're playing, obviously you have different disciplines, different abilities to like navigate different situations. But this Sabat warehouse is always an interesting. It sort of like solidifies how you're going to play the rest. Not so much how you're going to play the rest of the game, but what you can expect from the rest of it.
Yeah, it's like a really big section.
Which we have just blitzed through.
Yep, too easy.
Okay, so that is Santa Monica nice and done. We're playing as Nosferatu, Kalia. Right, so we have about 90 seconds of cutscene and dialogue, so if there are any questions anyone wants to ask, or if you've got anything that you'd like to read out, then now is a perfect time.
Yeah, Vysetra, I know you mentioned that you played this game for the first time, within the last couple of years, and I'm kind of wondering what drew you to the game and ultimately led you to start speedrunning it.
Fantastic questions. Fortunately, one of the people that actually introduced me to it and got me to actually play it casually for the first time is actually watching the stream. So Vinada, she's been on different GDQ hotfixes and just GDQ events in general. She was like a super fan of VTMB, and just, like a few of her pals are also like super fond of it. Okay, I'll try it out. And they had the displeasure of watching me play through it for the first time in the most unoptimal way.
Love it.
And then what made me want to start running it was I was curious. I looked at the SRC page and I was like, how quickly can you do this? And I saw like 27 minutes at the time. I was like, okay, I did something very different to what this guy did. And I learned that you could skip the entirety of Hollywood and Warrens, which one of those things I was sad to skip, Hollywood, but Nosferatu Warrens I didn't really like at the time. So I was like, okay, this is, I'm curious. Let's look at the route. And it's just sort of taken over from there. But at the time, there weren't really any recent route notes or like any sort of tech videos to like try and bring in new runners. So that was something I sort of had to like reverse engineer by myself. And in a slight bit of self-promotion, I do actually have like an up-to-date route guide for this game now. So if anyone's thinking of running this, then I can help you.
Should have been more.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
This is a main existence. Stay out of trouble, kid.
Yeah, I would love to see your guide. It's a video guide or it's a written guide?
I've actually got two parts to it. So the video guide is like a play-by-play kind of thing where it explains what's happening throughout it, and then I've also got like a condensed sort of written notes where you need to go.
Very cool that you made those resources available for everyone. Thank you.
You sure?
That's quite all right.
Promise you,
I'm
you
happy
gotta-
to have more runners.
Kid, I don't.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so we've arrived in downtown. We've got to... Sorry, I completely drew a blank there. We've got to... we had to go speak to Nines Rodriguez, which is the dude that saved us in that encounter with the Sabat. And that sets a flag with Prince LeCroix because we can't actually proceed to the next part of the main story beats until, we've encountered both factions, the Camarilla and the Anarchs. So we're going to head up here. speak to my mans, who is a snake. Any thoughts on Prince LaCroix yourself?
I mean, I don't mind him actually. Like, I find him amusing.
Yeah?
Good.
I do. Yeah, I like him as a character. What about you, chat? What do you think of the prince? What do you think, Vysetra?
I don't want to show my disdain too much, but I think he's a crook.
He's a dirty crook.
I'm not a fan of Prince LaCroix. I think he's he's a fantastic character, and like I guess you could call him an antagonist, right? Like,
Oh,
I guess depending on how you
absolutely.
play it, but
Oh, yeah.
he's a fantastic character. He's just such a self-serving
We won't say it.
creature.
But
Yes.
yep, he is absolutely.
That is indeed a real Vysetra. Is that real Hekigan in this Twitch channel?
It is real. We're live. It's not a recording.
It's actually real. Crazy.
Unless you're
Oh.
watching on YouTube, in which case this has already happened. So sorry.
Yeah, also hi YouTube.
Hi.
So LaCroix sent us to like a stealth mission, if you will, which is another one. You know, the theme is upkeeping. You can stealth this mission as well, and it's really satisfying actually. To basically get information on something called the Ankaran sarcophagus, which is the big overarching story point for this game. The Ankaran sarcophagus has a third generation vampire in it, right? Supposedly. We don't know which antediluvian it is specifically, but whichever one it is, if someone were to diablerize, which is to basically devour and like absorb their strength, basically, they'd be extraordinarily powerful and they'd have like complete control over LA. So there's like a whole political vacuum kind of thing going on where, you know, you've got the Sabbat that want to sort of like, you know, use it for themselves or destroy it. And then you've got the Camarilla, which like deny the existence of antediluvians. So it's sort of like a little bit of a, not a double standard, but like a slight bit of hypocrisy from Prince LaCroix, who's like, yeah, I really want this Ankaran sarcophagus because, you know, I want the power from it.
Right. Yes. He has other motives.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's a self-serving. I'm not going to say that on this channel.
He sucks, right?
Yeah,
Y'all said it in chat.
He really does.
When we hear from Grout, you may come back.
Right. So he's tasked us with going to find the Malkavian Primogen, Alistair Grout, which has one of the. It has the frame perfect.
No.
I guess we'll just call it secret spray because it saves like 3 minutes of time. So what I will do is I'll get the setup going, try my best to get it as fast as possible, and then maybe go quite for like 10-15 seconds whilst I focus on just getting that. So what I'll do is I'll hand over to you in about, honestly, if you wanted to take the reins now, it'd be absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, please focus. So the trick that Vysetra is going to work on is pretty specific from what I gather talking before the stream. And so Vysetra is going to attempt to do this the first try so that we can save those 3 minutes or so.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Let's go, yes. Would you
Okay.
care to elaborate? That was
Yeah.
excellent.
Okay, so getting that first try is huge. So what we did was we used a discipline of the animal. Well, we used an animalism discipline called Bloodsucker's Communion, right? And what that's going to do is spawn a bat for us to jump off of, and there's about 6 frame perfect inputs that we need to get right. And it is just granted hitting the scroll wheel to elevate ourselves onto the 2nd floor of Grout's mansion, which will save us running around, puggling with a bunch of levers and everything like that. And yeah, on the top end of runners, it will save about 3 minutes of time, which is great.
Yeah, being in this house, or what would you call this place?
It's kind of it's like a 50-50 split between some dude's mansion and like some dude's like experimental basement. Yeah.
Experimental basement. Yeah, and it is quite frustrating finding your way through all of this, so well done.
I sadly can't take the credit for this, for that tech, but finding out how it works, well, I can take credit for that because
Oh, definitely.
I didn't have any like resources that were actually helping at the time, but that's a whole different conversation. Shout out to Vevin Valor. The dude clearly blessed this run for me to get that first try.
Shoutouts.
So we've got basically towards the end of Grout's mansion now, and what we're going to do is we're going to find Alistair Grout in a particularly unfortunate scenario where he's been staked. And, you know, obviously he's been assassinated by someone, but we don't know who. But we're going to get a good idea of how many enemies he had in a moment, because there's going to be another guy in here who was looking to kill Alistair Grout. Who could it be?
Who could it be? Chat, do you know?
Ozchamp, chat, do you know? Grout's dead. Rip to a real one. It's a shame that we don't actually get any interaction with Grout in the actual in the game at all, because you only hear like voice notes that he records and like plays through speakers throughout his home. But I think he'd be such an interesting character to chat with and just sort of get more story beats from. I was kind of hoping in one of the endings where you can like sort of go like lone wolf, that he'd be around somewhere. Like, I won't give too many spoilers in the story, but I just kind of wish that he was around more.
Definitely like him more than the prince.
Oh yeah, like he's got way more. Well, I can't say he's got more personality because that'd just be wrong. But I don't know. There's a lot of intrigue around him. Whereas you can kind of assume that what LaCroix wants to do is just be self-serving.
Oh,
which
yes.
is typical sort of antagonist kind of role.
Makes sense for like an old vampire.
True, true. Okay, so next story beat, and then we've got the big sequence break in Hollywood. So we've been tasked with going to actually locate the uncurrent sarcophagus once again at this museum. We're going to definitely find out that it's not here, so unlucky. But we are going to see another character that we saw earlier in the run, called Beckett. And Beckett is sort of like a vampire historian, I guess you could call him that, who sort of like researches the vampiric condition, kindred history and things like that. So he's I think he's actually like a major character from the World of Darkness IP, which is quite interesting.
I don't keep up too much with like all of the canon for World of Darkness, but it is pretty elaborate from what I understand.
I can't pretend to say that I know. I'm just like, I can only really recite what I remember from reading on the wiki.
Oh no, you're fine. Listen, it's a cool game, and it's okay to admit that the music is cool and we just want to vibe in the game.
True. The soundtrack, written by, I believe his name's Rick Schaefer. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that
Yes,
right. But,
correct.
Masterclass in like ambience and just, I cannot fault the soundtrack in the slightest.
Completely agree. It's a great soundtrack. Y'all should play this game.
Right. So that was the last bit of LA done, which is great.
At least
We're going to inform LaCroix the sarcophagus was stolen. He's going to spit his dummy out, and he's going to badmouth the Nosferatu, which is part of the reason that I dislike him.
He's not too happy right now.
Nah, bro is angry. And we're now in Hollywood. So, I don't think I mentioned this, but because we are playing as Nosferatu, we have to travel through the sewers everywhere. If we're seen in public, it's a Masquerade violation, which is the way to summarize it is we are so fugly by conventional standards that nothing like us could possibly be ordinarily human and look this horrific.
Yeah, so if you go out and you're seen, you're going to be breaking a lot of rules as an Nosferatu.
Yep. It's a shame, really. But, you know, people in clubs don't seem to mind. I don't know why everyone else has to be so judgmental.
Yeah, the club goers know what's up.
Right, so this is Romero. This is going to be the start of the big sequence break for Hollywood. And this is going to be a bad start. So he's got 2 attack cycles. He's got a shotgun and he's got his knife. If he's got his knife out, he's going to be running towards us, which is what we want. If he's got a shotgun out, he's going to stand there and maybe even backstep a little bit, which is what we do not want. If you break direct line of sight, that will also cause him to change his weapon, which is also not good. You can lose and gain so much time on this section, right? It can make or break a run. So there's no point getting excited if you're like green splits up to this point. It's only really worth getting excited if you're like still green or even gold after it. And it's at that point I just go quiet. I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to focus.
Oh yeah. Have you done a lot of submissions for this run? Like how many submissions would you say you have put on the board?
Oh, like finished runs? I think I've finished about 140 runs of this and attempted like I think I've attempted like nearly 700 runs of this now.
Wow, expert level. That's cool.
Knife? No? Okay. Gonna be a jerk. Right, there we go. So what we're doing is we're gonna lure this guy Romero to this mausoleum, right? And we're gonna get him to stand in a specific spot. And we're gonna use the collision from him as well as Spectral Wolf to clip us through the shortcut in the Nosferatu Warrens. And that's gonna save us, as I might have alluded to earlier in the run, like on the top end of runners, about 10 or minutes or so. Okay. Now run towards me.
I know you're here.
Ooh, this might not work. A little scary. Oh, first try. I didn't even quick save. I wasn't even scared.
Ooh, let's go.
Okay, so I've actually got live split on as like a thing in the background, just for my own sort of like reference on how we're doing with the run.
Sure, yeah.
24 minutes load removal, which is, you know, still extraordinarily good to be at this point in the run. But I'm like nearly 2 minutes behind PB, but that's I'm not here to PB.
We're here to hang out and vampire around.
Exactly. Have a good time on Time Capsule.
Yes,
Experience
thank
the
you.
flavor of VTMB.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for running this, by the way. I'm having fun.
Not a problem. Thank you for reaching out and saying, "Hey, do you wanna do some VTMB?" The answer will always be yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
I need no convincing to A, play this game, and B, run this game. I'm a slave to this run. Okay, we nearly had really clear movement going back up this hill, but so we ran into gorgeous Gary Golden, the Nosferatu Primogen, and he's told us, yeah, where you need to go is Chinatown, so up to Chinatown, where we've got another sequence break, but it's nowhere near as convoluted as that.
Chinatown, my favorite. Let's go.
I re-enabled what I was doing before Hotfix was like muting the music and just having my own music play through Spotify or something when I was doing runs, but I've re-enabled each of the tracks because it's just I feel like if I'm going to demonstrate the game, it should definitely have the original music going as well.
Oh yeah. I still don't know if you're joking about the song in the club.
Okay, that one I can confirm I am joking about. That one
Okay. Because for a second I was like, I don't know, like, is chat telling the truth? Is Vysetra telling the truth? It was a good track.
Yeah, the song that ordinarily plays in that club is isolated by Chiasm? I'm not quite sure how the name is pronounced, but that's an iconic track from the soundtrack as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's worth mentioning what I did there just for the explanation is what you would ordinarily do is speak to Ming Zhao in that hut that we jump on top of, right? But what we've done is literally just jump over it. And you can do that in unofficial patch as well, which is, oh, I nearly forgot. You have to quick save and quick load here. Otherwise, this becomes uninteractable terrain. So glad I remembered that. Muscle memory actually saving me. Yeah, we skip all of the Chinatown quest line with that tech, which is nice.
That is nice.
Say goodbye to the lockpick. We don't need that anymore. Bloodlines 2N later this year, which is, I'm personally looking forward to it. I think people should be more willing to give it a try.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk surrounding Bloodlines too, but I think I might play it. I don't know. We'll see.
I think, like, I'm not sure if I'll run it. That's one thing I will say. I don't think it's one I'll want to run, but we'll see how it goes, because it's going to be a very different experience to Bloodlines 1.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I mean,
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. It's kind of nothing shy of a miracle that it's actually, you know, being released at all, because it's been stuck in dev hell for like so long. Right, so we've got our jade statues. We can now finish off this puzzle, and we are going to be considerably underestimated, so it's worth mentioning that in about 2 minutes, we're going to be done with the run.
Oh, wow, you zipped through this.
I like to give a 40-minute estimate because there is so much that can go wrong with this run. And fortunately, that's not happened at all, which has been amazing.
Nice. Yeah, it's been good.
LaCroix. Yes.
Right,
Here.
so we've got the last fight of the game, Ming Zhao. And we're just going to spam the Animalism Discipline and Potence to do considerable DPS. And honestly, this fight is, it can kind of troll you a little bit, where she just sort of soft locks and becomes invincible, which is absolutely not ideal. Or she like just like stuns you and like throws you around the area a whole bunch. Not ideal in the slightest, but that was a decent-ish fight.
Yeah, she was a tough fight.
Yeah, on like a casual playthrough, that's a showstopper.
For sure.
Right. I will walk into the elevator and count down, and then on time, obviously time. So 3, 2, 1, time.
So,
But how
Exactly
does it
2 minutes.
end?
and
How
soon
does it
all the
end?
devils will share their fate. Los Angeles at last.
People
is
will just have to
mine.
play and find out for themselves.
Won't
Stand
they?
next to me while we
Thank you
open
so
the
much for
sarcophagus.
showing off Vampire the Masquerade
You've earned
Bloodlines,
a place at my
Vysetra. This is
side.
a fun run, and I had a
The
blast.
Ankaran sarcophagus.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's been a very good time.
Is it
That's
Balthazar?
a really nice
Maybe
showing
Lazarus.
of VTMB 80% Nosferatu. If anyone is interested in learning the run,
Could the
I'm
anxiety
always
cause
around to
something
answer
the
questions
city
in the
needed
VTMB Discord.
before us,
There is
as well as the
resources
legendary
available both on
figure
YouTube and the SRC page.
Cain
Uh,
himself.
we've got 2 more fantastic runs coming
One
up
thing
with
is
Time Capsule, so definitely stick around for that.
Power
We've got
is
Fun
inside.
Fantasy Splinter Cell next,
No
I
one on
believe,
this
and then
coast
we've
will be
got
able to challenge
MGS the
my
Twin
rule.
Snakes.
Yes,
Not
that
even
is
the
correct.
camera.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a good
You have the
show.
right.
But yeah,
the
Vysetra, do you have
sarcophagus.
any more like shout outs, comments before we head over to the next run?
Me personally, obviously, thank you to Alan and Vin in chat, I know what time it is for them. It's the exact same time for me, so I've recognized they're up at 3:30 in the morning.
Couple of vampires here.
Yeah, some fellow kindred in the chat. Thank you again for having me on. It's been fun, and maybe next time I will find a way to try demonstrate 100% quest log, which is a much longer run at some point. But
Ooh, yeah. Well, you'll have to keep me updated.
yes, certainly so. Right, thank you very much for your time. I will hand back off over to you.
Of course, yeah. All right, everyone. Well, before we break, I do want to give a big shout out to all of our amazing supporters. Your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered here on the GDQ Twitch channel do help support the GamesDoneQuick Hotfix. So if you enjoy watching this show, Time Capsule, or any of our other Hotfix shows, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can learn more about everything Hotfix at GamesDoneQuick.com/Hotfix. I do want to say thank you again so much to Vysetra for showing off Bloodlines. We will be right back with a speedrun of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Pandora tomorrow, so stay tuned.